I just wanted to get into choppers. I liked Harleys, you know, and I asked people, hey, you know, I'd like to get a Harley, and they're saying, oh, no, they break down all the time. You don't want one of those. But it never took me away from getting one, and finally I ended up scraping a bunch of money together and buying just a rat basket case. Some terrible thing. I rode for quite a while, and then I got my license taken away, and then I ended up tearing it down. I really was just going to paint it, and then once you tear it down and do something, you just have to do something else, and you end up, you know, $8,000 or $10,000 later, you know. But I finally got it together. I used a lot of the old parts from the old bike, just refurbished them, cleaned them all up. I traded a guy, he had a set of cases on his motorcycle that he thought were hot. So he said, well, he had picked up another set of cases. So he said, well, if you change my motor, I'll give you these cases. My old 66 cases had blue tags. So I got rid of those, and now these have stock Harley numbers, and it's all registered as a 68, but it's all the 66 parts. I had the chopper before. It was like 10 over. It was really raked a lot, and I didn't want to go quite that far, so I didn't want a stock front end. So I just got in between there, and and I wanted to set it low on the ground too. So it just ended up 4 over on the front end, and just as putting it together, I wanted to keep all the lines straight and, you know, do a real clean job on it. The triple trees are custom made, and they're made out of 70-75 aluminum, and they're real strong. It's a solid steel stem, and it's slotted for the internal fork stop in the rear, so you can't see any of it. It's inside. I used to work at House of Horsepower. I got a lot of my training was there, really, building, learning how to build the large inch motors, 106 inches, and making the race bikes work and all the tolerances close. So I got a lot of education there, which really helped me out. That's why I built my motor and trans and stuff. Did a little porting, nothing serious, and it's just 40 over, it's 74 inches, and I just cleaned up a lot of stuff. I cleaned up some of the rough edges. I didn't have the cases polished or anything. I just went the old glass bead, and got the old style pump on it. I didn't switch to a new style. Pretty much it's basically stock. I put in a magneto so I wouldn't have any problems with wiring, you know, and I don't have any problems starting it either. Everybody says, oh, you know, you're gonna have problems starting it and all that. But I never had any problems starting it. If you tune them right, they're gonna run, you know. And I haven't had any problems with it so far, and the rest of the wiring is just for lights. I always wanted to paint something brown, and everybody's going, oh, what do you want to paint that thing shit brown for? You know, you don't want brown. Brown's terrible. I said, hey, I've always wanted to paint something brown, and I never did, and this time I said it's going brown. I didn't want a shiny, flashy flame job either, so I ended up with the ghost flame. I'm a real good welder too. I did a lot of welding and heliarc welding and stuff, so I made my sissy bar and made my exhaust pipes. Made a lot of custom stuff on that bike. Gusseted the frame. There's everything in there is pretty well modified in some way. I like the bike enough to where I want to ride it all the time, so I don't push it hard. You know, I like to ride my bikes easy. I don't race around. I kind of putt through canyons and just enjoy the ride. I don't know about riding that rigid Sturgis or Daytona, you know, especially with the old lady on the back and stuff, you know. She won't complain, but I know it ain't gonna feel too good. I'm not gonna be happy when I get off the end of the ride, because she's gonna be sore and worn out. She's been a big help. Boy, she's out in the garage wrenching away. I tell her to hold this, and I'll do this, and you tighten it up, and then I'll, you know. She's about the best help I have for my bike, and I need it too.